DC reacts to Ngannou's big payday, Volkanovski says he will fight Aljamain Sterling, and Nickal talks about a future fight with Khamzat Chimaev, all on today's video. On the DC and RC show, Daniel Cormier gives his honest reaction to Francis Ngannou's big payday in fighting Tyson Fury in a boxing ring, and how this will impact his ability to earn even more money in the future.
He's going to make more money than he ever could have imagined making in his entire life.
Yep.
Because guess what, RC? They're fighting in Saudi Arabia, which somehow literally just bought the PGA. Hey, bro, could you imagine how much money these dudes about to get?
Just bought it.
If they bought golf? Like, how much money do you have to buy golf? When golf a year ago was mad because you started a league. Like, They actually bought golf. Francis and Tyson Fury are going to make so much money, it's crazy for him.
Yes.
I want to be wrong in this situation. I'm happy that he's getting paid in that way. But that leads to this question. You go fight Tyson Fury in a boxing match, because ultimately you fight Tyson Fury, you got to give in to whatever he wants. Is Francis Ngannou ever going to fight in the PFL, RC? Or do you think this is one of those situations where he makes so much money he might be done?
You know what? I don't want to say he's going to be done, because that would question how much he actually loves fighting. But he will be in that awkward position that we kind of saw Conor McGregor in. And like, why are you fighting? And how much do you put into fighting? And for Francis Ngannou, there won't be the sort of matchups or the sort of high-stake names in the PFL that you could have those sort of money opportunities against in the UFC. And so I do believe, depending on what Francis Ngannou makes, depending on how this fight goes, this could be the last time we see him in combat sports as a whole.
He's going to be a part of the pay-per-views, right, when PFL makes him fight or when they get him to fight. Does fighting Tyson Fury elevate his star power to the point that he can come back and headline pay-per-views against guys that the PFL have? And maybe they don't do 4, 5, 600,000 buys, but I'm pretty sure he'll get money on pay-per-view number 1. So if he sells 200,000 pay-per-views, dude's making a ton of money.
And Alexander Volkanovski gives a statement on the potential champ-champ fight with Aljamain Sterling, providing he gets past Sean O'Malley at UFC 292 first.
I think if he goes out there and takes out Sean, like, he's definitely paid his dues. How many times defenses would that be?
3 or 4.
4, yeah. So there you go. I think so. He's a big dude, but we'll just obviously he's got a tough fight ahead of him. But that's another possible fight. So there's plenty of options. And again, I want to be active. So cool, keep him rolling.
And Nickal talks to Ariel Helwani about the highly anticipated middleweight fight with fellow undefeated fighter Khamzat Chimaev, and how long we'll have to wait for this inevitable showdown.
I think everybody wants to see me fight Khamzat. I want to fight Khamzat, but I think that we need to build more. He hasn't fought in a long time. I think his last fight was Holland, right?
Yeah, September
so
last
Kevin
year.
Holland up. Yeah, so he smashed Kevin Holland up almost a year ago, and I would like to see him maybe fight an 85er. I'll get a couple more fights in, and my goal with Khamzat has always been Allegiant Stadium, sell it out for the belt, and blow the roof off that place when I smash that guy. So, I think it's going to take a little more to build my reputation and get to where I want to be, and, for him to get to where he needs to be in order to make that fight what it deserves, right? To give it the atmosphere that it deserves.
Is that your ultimate fight? Like, do you think that'll be the biggest fight possible for you, or is there a bigger one?
Well, if it's for the belt, then that could be the biggest fight. But as of now, neither of us are the champ or even like fighting for the belt. So, I think that's a fight that should be for the title, and not the interim title, not like the BMF or anything like that, just the actual 185 UFC belt, undisputed. So that's a fight that I got on my mind, but I don't really see any specific fight as, oh, this is the biggest fight of my career, this and that. I'm going to be myself and perform the same regardless of who I compete against. So, that's a fight that I definitely think about, but, there'll probably be bigger fights down the line.
And with Kevin Lee announcing his retirement last week, on the Weighing In podcast, Josh and John give some kind words for Kevin, but believe he will be back.
He had high expectations. People had high expectations for him.
Yeah.
And shortly after that, it wasn't able to pan out. It just didn't live up to it. I mean, he had great moments in a lot of great fights. But sadly, he came out on the losing end on some of those big ones. And so then we went away, tried to reinvent himself, and then came back and, gave it another go. But you know what? I think for some reason, what is he, 29? I think he's still young.
He's 30.
He's 30, so I would give him. I bet you he'll walk away for a year.
Give him a couple years.
Yeah, I think he'll be back before he's 32. Right before he turns 32, I think he'll be back. Maybe
Right
I don't
now
think
he's
he'll be
disappointed.
back. Yeah, I don't think he'll be back in the UFC, but I think he'll be back. Whether he goes to PFL, whether he goes to one, I don't know, but whatever promotions are around at that time. But I don't think he's done yet. I think there's still money on the table for him to be had, and I think he's going to capitalize on that. Just not right now. Give him some time to get his focus back and sort some things out and reinvent himself a little bit. Probably he won't stop training. He won't stop training. He'll take a little bit of a break. Maybe 3 months, 4 months off. But he'll get back in the gym. It's hard to walk away from the gym, man. It's hard to walk away from your friends in the gym.
Where all your friends are.
Yeah. It's everyone that you've known for, like you said, for the last 12 years. It's everybody you know. Those have been your mainstay friends. Every day you walk in the gym and you see them. Every day you walk in and you guys go have lunch. Every day, like you're joking around in the locker room, whatever it is. On the mats or in the cage or in the locker room or at lunch, whatever it is, you guys, those have been your closest friends. So it's hard to walk away from that. So I think at 30 years old, he'll be back.
He has a lot to look at as far as his career and be proud of, because he fought some of the very best guys out there, and he got some wins against, some really good fighters. There's times that things didn't work out for him. That's part of fighting, but he is young. I think he's just disappointed with, he got the return to the UFC and that fight. Look, everybody who knew who he was fighting knew that was a tough fight for him. Mm-hmm. I think he knew it too in taking the fight. He knew, that his coaches were not dumb. They know exactly what he was up against. He just didn't think that it was going to end the way it did with him getting choked unconscious, but he got hurt. Happens.
Yeah.
But take time, and if this is the end, hey, Kevin, you had a hell of a career. You were fun to watch, hell of an athlete, hell of a fighter, and you have nothing to look back on with anything but a lot of pride.